Praying for this mission and sharing it out are two simple things that we can all do. So that's a sincere ask.
That's all you can do. That helps.
Ooh. And there was one more thing that was a good thing that happened in the past couple weeks. I remember seeing something from you that the breakfast in August.
Oh yeah. Yes. August 7th, our fellowship breakfast. Thank you and God bless Zion Evangelical Church of Metropolis, Illinois. I don't know how much it was because you know the rule, I don't ask. But I do know it was enough to cover our August 7th fellowship breakfast.
Awesome. So for those who don't know where that is, go to the IHOP in Paducah, Kentucky on August 7th, and you can join in that breakfast. So veterans come and eat for free. And thank you to the church that they are covering it for this coming month. But all are welcome. Come and break bread with heroes.
Yeah, again, all are welcome. Veterans eat for free.
Awesome. So we will be sure to keep sharing that out because actually, what is that now? It's 2 Wednesdays from now, so it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
So beautiful. So yeah, we're seeing some chat in here.
Delivered to the JD Vance rally in Henderson, Nevada tomorrow. Sweet, brother. Sweet.
Excellent. Well, and I see we have Kurt joining us, and I know we do have a guest in the background as well. I'm going to go ahead and bring Kurt on in here. You want to hop in and say a quick hello?
Hey, Kurt.
Hello. Good to see you both on here.
And that's the downside of that computer, because every once in a while it freezes up. He's still talking. I can hear him. He'll be right back. Sorry, Kurt. I didn't wait long enough to bring you in.
We're going to have to figure out how to upgrade that equipment.
Yeah. But yeah, we do have a friend that's joining us that we lost him completely. Wow. So, no, we did not either. Sorry. He'll be back in. I think he can click himself in when he's all set to do that. But I would like to introduce a friend to the show. I know I mentioned one friend to you before the show started. This is a different friend who's coming in.
Look, bring him in. Yeah. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be hanging out because
all good.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. You've had a lot going on, and we're grateful that you're here and able to do what you're doing.
Yeah, my bed is probably calling to me.
So, well, we do have Christian joining us here. I'm going to head and bring him on in. Christian, if you are ready to pop in and say hello, he is somebody that we've gotten to know over the last, I'm trying to think, few weeks. For me personally, I think he maybe has known Kurt and Emily a bit longer there. But Christian, welcome. If you want to come on in and give a better introduction for yourself here so that we can share out who you are, what you all do.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Ryan, thank you. Thank you sincerely. Thank you humbly. I am having some issues with audio. So I know that there is some greater good. So I'm just going to roll with the punches because the audio keeps going. And I know that when you're on to good things, the opposition is going to be much more apparent, and it's going to be much heavier because this is some wonderful things. So first and foremost, absolutely, I appreciate every one and each of the veterans in the whole United States have ever served, your families, uh, sons, daughters, mothers, and grandmothers, everybody. When one serves, the whole family serves. And it just boggles my mind why we don't roll out the red carpet again. Just like these championship teams after they win, there should be some celebration every time we have deployment coming back in, because you guys sacrifice so much, just not in the training, but in the actually serving and going out. So thank you so very much. Appreciate you and every other veteran
Brother,
from the
we
deep, my sincere heart.
we do it because it's a calling. Okay. Again, in throughout history, people have had to stand and defend a way of life. You know.
Well, I appreciate it, and that goes to one of the things that is always in my heart, because those brave men and women that serve the country, and again, that's just can't be said enough. Now, I just want to make sure EC Marketing for All, and I know I'm getting the information back over to Emily and wonderful team, and obviously Sue. And yeah, we've only known each other for few days, but I think what lines up and what has kind of the camaraderie, if you will, that has so quickly evolved and developed is, I think we're like-minded individuals that truly have a heart for serving, and that's where it comes in. So then
Yeah.
being genuine, yeah, being genuine with each other and putting it out there, and and then not just talking, but actually the actions that go behind it, right? And that supportiveness. And I like to make good, solid connections that mean something, and make myself of value no matter where I go. So absolutely, our
Well,
Easy Marketing
brother,
for
I
All
say
does offer
welcome
obviously other
welcome
services,
to
but
the
it's just
DieHard
the back.
team. Welcome to the DieHard team. Kurt, Sue, Emily are all great team players. Uh, this podcast is for people to bring out products, programs, or a message of hope to veterans. Kurt and Sue run this. I say thank you for stopping by, but I do got to get going because, as you may have heard in the pre-show, uh, I'm 2 weeks post-op of a double bypass heart surgery. So I have to go and take some meds and decompress from the day.
Okay, okay. Well,
So
definitely,
with
definitely.
that, brothers and
That's
sisters, stay strong, stay in the fight, don't give up. And I'm going to turn it over to Sue. Kurt left again, okay. But I'm going to turn it over to Sue to take it from here and say thank you. And Kurt, he's back. Take it from here and do great things. And we'll talk later on this week.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Brian. Rest well, and we will see you soon. Awesome. So, Christian, it's great to have you on here. I know we even do our shakedown at noon. That's people of all abilities being able to get moving. 15 minutes of music and motion on a daily basis, literally every day, holiday or not, we are on, and we have our time where I set my timer. It's 15 minutes of music with some simple motions, and our group that's on, it's actually a Zoom call. So it's something that everyone who has any interest in participating can either join us on Zoom, just ask us for that link, and we'd be happy to share, or we have a Facebook group called 12 o'clock Shakedown, because it's 12 o'clock noon in Central Time Zone when we do it. So that's and it started out with a guy who is a percussionist, and we had, I used to have the shakers handy here. I don't now. Something in your hand that you literally shake. Like, even if you take a small bottle with putting some rice in it and shake that's where Shakedown came from. And it's just a reason to get moving. And no matter what your ability, you're able to do this. And it's kind of a nice break in the day. So I appreciate that you've been joining us on there, Christian, and that kind of gave me an excuse to mention it on here too, because we've been doing it for a long time. It started during the pandemic.
No, it's great. It's great that you guys do it, and I think it's important to kind of point out why that is, the health benefits, the wellness that comes behind it. And a lot of people say, well, it's because as you get older, you get slower. No, 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 no. You can get slower, you can get faster. It's up to you what you want to do. So keep that positivity, keep that energy going. I know me and Kurt have already talked about going from the ice bucket challenge that all of these wonderful people know. So we're gonna take the ice bucket challenge, and then we're gonna go Project DieHard challenge, and we're gonna do the Shakedown challenge. So we're already amping up. We're already training to get in that ice bucket challenge. Me and Kurt are gonna jump in the ice bucket, and then we're gonna do our own Shakedown Project DieHard challenge, and we're gonna pass on that baton. Um, that's the stuff that I not just get excited about. I get excited about every day. I get excited about being able to join you guys. I get excited about seeing Mark and Debbie, and just kind of, because truly that's how you build communities, and being present. You guys, again, you guys are there, and you guys are happening. And I know Kurt's I sent you the link. Why aren't you following the link? You're a tech guy and you can't follow the link. um, it's so many moving parts, so many things, and so hey, listen, we're all humans. We give each other grace, we uplift, we support. And again, this goes back to the shout out for Emily, because I'm literally in the back end still trying to get the form that she asked me to do. So it was me, it's not her, it's me, having to still figure out, because I had to get a rich text document in order for me to save that as a copy. And so then, since I haven't used these types of documents, I'm like elementary. I would have loved for it to just been scan the QR codes, enter my info, and then submit. We'll work on that for next time. But I'm again trying to, and again, we roll with the punches. We stay positive, we stay supportive, and that's what we're all about. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to uplift. I'm here to support folks, to diagnose, I guess, if we can diagnose with one in each other. I'm not a plumber, so if you have a plumber that can give me tips on how to keep that plumbing, that's what we want to hear. Come on in. The backbone of this country: plumbers, electricians, auto repair. I mean, anyone that's out there. I know you guys put that invitation out there, so you guys want to uplift the community, especially veteran associations. And yeah, we'll definitely give you guys some free tips on what you can do on Google. Again, that's what I want to get across. Listen, there are things that you can do for free for your business. Doesn't matter if I make a buck. Trust me, God's got me. God, and you guys have done already so much for this country. It's not about that. It's This is where you're at. This is where you need to be met. Yes, there's other services. Yes, there's other things, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about where we're at today. And so it was a privilege to see this young man that served, and not only that, but had a double bypass. And that just took me to a great man, military veteran as well, which was my neighbor, you guys, that helped raise me. And so I still use what he instilled in me as a kid. I actually, he took me in and he taught me some things, and he taught me to be respectful. He taught me to do my chores. He taught me first things first. And that's what I have passed on to my kids. Not my dad taught me, not my stepdad, not my uncle, my neighbor, veteran neighbor, also had a double bypass. He had his vein. They did the whole thing from like all the way from the ankle all the way up. So it was, and he still lasted after that for a while. Yeah. And so he was always trucking, he was always moving. And that's where, again, I go back to. So just keep that body active, keep it moving, stay in it, because it's up to us. If we stop moving, if we start slowing down, that's the trajectory we're going to go into. So definitely join us every 12 Shakedown, 12 Eastern Shakedown.
Central.
Central. See, you caught me. I was just doing the math. Wait, the math ain't mathin'. 12 Central, obviously. 12 Central, Shakedown. I know I got it 10 a.m. California time. Either way, join us. Join if you don't join us live, join the replay. Definitely Shakedown. I love the bones, so come on down and shake those bones. That's the logo. Yeah, you thought I didn't pay attention. I'm telling you.
You've seen it.
So definitely, and sometimes we'll have the support and we'll have the participation, and we like the goofy antics. Mr. Kurt Roscoff, sorry, Sue. He wore it better today. We are going to put an official poll on Facebook and LinkedIn. Who wore that red lipstick better today? Since it was National Lipstick Day. I don't know. I think. Oh, now he's gonna run away. Now,
Oh, here it
I
is.
think
This is
that
that
red
Shakedown
lipstick.
page.
Who wore it better? Yeah, we're gonna have a poll. Who wore it better? Because I don't know. I think he might have gotten you on this one, Sue.
I bet he did. I
Yeah.
was just actually looking to see if the picture was here, but I don't see
I
the
figured as
picture.
much. I figured as much. But yeah, no, absolutely. Nice antics and again, positivity. If we can make somebody else smile, it's free. It's free.
So it literally is done live on here. We do a live stream to this Shakedown page. So this is the live stream from earlier today. And it's 15 minutes of music in motion, and you can see just simple motions, and you can be on camera or not on camera. It's totally up to you. And when you get to the end of it all, we also have a little bit of extra fun going on where Mark shares whatever the celebration of the day is. And that's where you see what he's talking about. Today is National Lipstick Day. It's also National Lasagna Day. So, if you're in a pasta kind of mood, you're in the right mind frame. It's also National Get Gnarly Day. So, all sorts of fun things. And that's what it's all about, is just having some fun and getting moving. So who can't use that? We all need that. We all got to get some motion going on in our day, because how many of us are stuck on our computer for work all day or for whatever? You need an excuse to get up and get moving, because if you sit there too long, it's not going to work out so good. So you got to actually stay healthy and move. So this gives you an excuse to get up and get moving. And we're committed to being there every day. So that is something I hope people want to, if you want to join us, even feel free to type something in the chat and we can get that link over to you. We don't just throw that Zoom link out publicly. We will send it individually to people, but it's not our Zoom account. So I don't want to spam the world or have anything weird going on with her account. So that's part of why we individually are happy to share that out. So feel free. Let's see. Actually, I should pass this over just to double check with Kurt. Did you have anything on the top of your mind? Because one other topic where I was headed next after checking in with you is I was thinking about hopping in with the TED Talk that Edwin did and sharing that out. So go ahead and let me know what you got on your mind there, Kurt.
Yeah, well, first of all, I like this program of Hope for All by EC Marketing for All, with these combined campaigns and outreaches and co-marketing efforts with Christian here. So thank you, Christian, for all that you're doing and your role here, right now. And speaking of right here, right now, being an ambassador of Project DieHard, there's a little bit of, adapt and overcome, and conquer. So we did a little of that today. We've got a friend that planned to be on with us on the screen and not really winning on the technology front. But you know what? We went back to old school, the good old-fashioned telephone. And we have our very own Neil Weber on the phone with us. Neil, are you hearing the show at all, Neil?
Yes, I'm hearing the phone. So I'm very, very pleased by your Operation Shakedown or your Shakedown. That's great. I think that's a great opportunity. Maybe on the weekends I'll be able to do that.
Nice. See, Christian, you're recruiting for us. We got Neil on the roster. So Neil, when we talked about, Project DieHard and Mission Monday and our veterans and suicide ideation and losing the lives of veterans, the suicide, and all of this mission of Project DieHard. You're passionate to share a little bit of story about how devotion to veterans is important to you. You want to share with our audience here, your connection into this veteran.
Well, my father's a veteran. He's still living at 98, and I visit him 3 times a week, and that's one way I support veterans. So he's not in danger of being suicidal. He's very solid in his faith. But he's not there. I was also not sure, but if I would commit to it, I could possibly commit to going to the Veterans Hospital and volunteering there. And then after getting, I'd have to get to know them. I just can't do it first day, but maybe after being there for 30, 60, 90 days, I could possibly introduce the Project Mission and the Mission DieHard and see how that goes.
Well, we appreciate that greatly, Neil, and you're welcome here, with our Monday Mission crew and with the team here, and anything you can do on our side around the other things you're committed to. And we're here to make it work any way it can, because Neil, the thing that I say repetitively here is there's over 8 billion people on the planet, and not a one of us, Neil, you don't, your father doesn't, Christian doesn't, Brian, our president founder, doesn't. Nobody has the solution as of today, right here, right now, as we're talking, to reduce veteran suicide. Because if anybody had this solution, we'd see the loss of lives of veterans having a rate going down. And since this thing was really taken on by the Veterans Administration and getting all this public awareness of the last couple decades, our government, face spaces, everywhere we turn, nobody has been able to get this on a downward spiral in terms of seeing a reduction in veteran suicide rates. So, all right, I'm getting a little technical thing here. You're coming through plenty loud. I didn't know that, Neil. That's on my end. I'm going to adjust what I do. Neil, did you have any other comments for our audience with what you heard from Christian?
What are the rates of veteran suicide? I don't even know what the rates are.
Well, the old statistic when the awareness first started to come out, the big release was 22 veterans a day. And many are saying today that, it could very well be double. So pretty much, Neil, during this live stream, when you do an hour live stream, you're talking about a good chance we've lost 2 veterans during this broadcast.
Yeah, that's a lot. And how many veterans are there out there? Are there tens of thousands, right?
I'd have to look it up to cheat a little bit. I'm gonna say you're in the right direction. I think what we've gone by here, Sue, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we've heard Brian say something like single-digit percentage of population veterans are. I forget if it's like 6 to 9% or something. And then
I looked it up. So I looked it up here. It shows I'm seeing 2 different numbers. One of them it's somewhere around 16 to 17 million veterans in the United States. And that is around between 6 and 7% of the population are veterans.
Yeah, and we bring that out to say that from there, Brian teaches us that over half of all suicides in the USA are veterans. So it's the disparity.
That's high. That's unacceptably high. That shouldn't be that high.
Yeah, that's correct, Neil. So that's why we get on here every week just as a Monday Mission update, because it's all day long, daily effort, and all week long, all month long. It's nonstop, and our efforts to create this as an all hands on deck initiative. And Neil, we really celebrate that you're coming into the fold, and you're one of the humans saying, hey, let's take care of our veterans.
Yeah, we said my dad, lived to 98 as a veteran, and he's still living. And I have no other family members of the extended family that are veterans, but my former brother-in-law is a veteran, and he's living and working at the VA, and he's doing well.
Well, very good. Very good. So hopefully we can continue on that story with, what you're, able to report there in good news with the veterans, in your bloodline and your relation and everything. So good stuff there. So that's what this is all about, is discussing the situation out there, building awareness, letting people coast to coast and even worldwide come in here and share insights on what's going on. So Sue is looking to transition here. Neil, you're going to hear a little bit of you've heard us talk about Happy Neighborhood Project, right, Neil?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, correct.
Yeah, so you're going to learn a little bit more about that. Sue is going to go into there talk about that a little bit. And there's a little connection to what Sue and I have been talking about here with what she's going to continue on. And we're going to look forward to your reaction, Neil, in just a moment. So bear with us, Neil. Sue's going to take over, and then we'll be right back to you.
Sure, that'd be fine.
Excellent. So one thing that we talk about with this group that we've been working with for the past, 3+ years with Happy Neighborhood Project, there's actually quite a few people that we've met through that organization. And it's a business networking group, but it's Happy Neighborhood Project. It's a little different. It's a great group of people. It really is. There's, for the most part, we've met so many that are happy, positive, wonderful business people that make you want to refer people to them because it's just a wonderful group. And the gentleman who started all this, Edwin, is somebody who is, he is considered the CHO, Chief Happiness Officer. And he's got a really interesting backstory on how he got to where he is. And it has to do with happiness and why and how he's come to where he is. And he spoke in front of the United Nations. He is part of why there is an International Day of Happiness. He did do a TED Talk. How many years ago was this? This was back, I'm trying to see what the date is on here. Back in 2016. So 8 years ago, he had done this talk. Did I math that right? 8 years ago, he did a talk, and I think it's worth sharing. He has a really interesting story and shares some good stuff. So I'm going to just take a moment here and go ahead and share that screen on in here, and I'm going to let that play.
Wow, beautiful. How are you? Now you ask me how I am. I am happy. It's an affirmation. But let me start with giving you a little background of how I became the Chief Happiness Officer. It was back in 2009 at the height of the recession. To say things were tough then would be an understatement. People were losing their homes. They were losing their jobs. 401k became 101k. And at that time, the media was having a field day with us. They was letting us know how things was going to get really bad before it get worse. And they were even showing pictures of the Great Depressions and people lining up, and waiting for their turn to get soup. And I made up my mind right then and then that I didn't want to be part of that conversation. I didn't want to be part of the dialogue. I wanted to do something different. For every person that lost a job or that lost a home or that saw a reduction in their retirement, there was still something valuable left. And I wanted a way to shift their mind to that which is left. And I do a lot of meditation. And one day, I came out of meditation feeling really good. I was like a little kid in a candy store. And I realized I couldn't do anything about the global meltdown, but I could do something about one person. So I just went out and I started asking very simple questions of anybody that would take some time and listen to me. And I asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you today? They gave me a number, and we just talked about happiness. It might be a minute or 2 or 3, and I started to notice as they lived, they were a little bit happier. And I started doing that. And one day, I was in Jack London Square in Oakland, a beautiful Sunday morning, and a young man was walking towards me, and this is a routine I've done over 500 times by now. So I said, hey, excuse me, can I ask you a quick question? And he said, no. And you guys laughed, but I wasn't laughing. He just was. I said, but it's a quick question. And he said, not really. I said, come on, what's going on? And he realized I wasn't going to give up. So he said, what is it? Make it really quick. And I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you right now? And he scored by far the lowest I have experienced. And I'm asking myself, this is a beautiful Sunday. Why would somebody rate themselves? This is self-assessment. Why would you rate yourself that low? So I said, can I share a quick story with you? And he said, no. I said, here we go again, And he said, but make it real quick because I got to go. So the first story that come to mind, I started sharing. And I noticed towards the end of the first story, he was calmed down a little bit. So I said, can I share one more? He didn't say yes or no. So I assumed it for a yes. So I shared one more, then two more, then three more. About 9 stories, and 30 minutes later, I felt like my job is done. So I reached out to take his hand, and he won't let go. And he's holding my hand, and he said, what is your name? I said, as a general rule, I don't give my name. I made the decision very early on because I didn't want people thinking this guy was just being nice. He's going to come and try to sell us something, you know? So I didn't give my name, but he said, not this time. He said, I didn't want to talk to you at first. And you've kept me here for almost 30 minutes. The least you can do is give me your name. And I thought that was very fair. But I also wanted my hand back. And so I gave him my name. He asked for the spelling. I spelled it for him. And he released my hand, and I went my way. And then the next day, I got a call from this young man. And he said, do you remember me? I said, absolutely, from Jack London Square. I said, but what I don't remember is giving you my number. And he said, I Google you. I said, okay, that rests that. And he said, I'm calling to say thank you. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm the one that held you hostage. So I'm the one that's supposed to be grateful. What's going on here? And that's when you break the news. That when I stopped him, he was on his way to commit suicide. And he hit me so hard. The only thing I can think of right then was, you need to go see a counselor. And he said, I've been seeing a counselor for 2 years and nothing has helped. And I'm just tired. I just want to end it. And I said, what happened? He said, all the crazy stories you were sharing, most of them I didn't understand because of your accent. I said, no, it's not my accent. You were rushing me, you know. And he said, I didn't. He said, but it resonated. All of those things were there. But I was suppressing them because I was in so much pain. And so I went back home. The suicide note I left for my family, I flipped it, and I started listing all the things I was thankful for and happy about. And I ended up with 29, starting from 0 where you met me. I was like, wow. I said, you're in a different frame of mind now. You should go see a different counselor. And he asked if I was a counselor. I said, no. And he said, thank you, and he hung up. Ladies and gentlemen, every single human being you and I encounter have an impact. Some of them might be something that you just even don't notice, and some might be life-changing. That was life-changing for me. And I went on to start an organization called the I Am Happy Project that is now in 64 cities in 19 countries with over 36,000 people involved with a mission to just focus on happiness. And folks, it's been exciting. So today, folks, I want to share with you happiness as a default position. When people come across me and they realize that I spread happiness, the reaction is always threefold. And it's different from people to people. Some of them says, oh, I'm happy most of the time. And others might say, how do you spread happiness? And yet, some will say, the world really needs more happiness. And so for those of you that think you are happy most of the time, I want to share with you those times that you are not happy. Because those are the times you need to watch out for. And for those of you that are not happy at all, I have good news for you. And that is you can learn to be happy. Now, if you don't believe me, check it out with the U.S. Surgeon General. He said that the biggest illness that we all have is unhappiness. And we can learn to be happy. So I'm going to share with you some very simple strategies that will help you. The first one I call the 24-hour promise. And it's easy to remember, okay? When you wake up in the morning, promise yourself that you're going to be happy just for 24 hours. That's it. I'm not asking for a whole week or a whole month or a whole year. That's too much work. Just 24 hours. Now, here is why. I have a saying that do not allow the past or the future to rob you of the present. This is what we have. And if you can commit to be happy just 24 hours, you've made it. Now, here is a small trick. just before you go to bed, renew the contract for another 24 hours. And you've just figured out a way to increase your happiness. And the second one, folks, I call the 3-minute rule. And this is a situation that helps you sustain your happiness. Because life is going to throw you a call from time to time. Some might be very simple, like getting a driving ticket. And others might be losing your job. And yet, might be losing a loved one. Folks, if you are not prepared, if you have not trained yourself, you could be totally wiped out. Initially, it might be a situational depression. And if you don't know how to handle it, how to manage it, guess what? It could drag in to a critical depression. Folks, when I talk about happiness as a default position, I'm not saying you should not be human. If you feel sad, express it. If you feel hungry, show that. If you discuss about something, do that. Enjoy all the basic form of emotion. They are all adaptive emotion. The only thing I say is, don't let it control your life. And you have to manage it. And you have to figure out a way to redirect your purpose. Folks, if you can do that, you will sustain high level of happiness. And finally, for those who ask me, how do you spread happiness? When you've interviewed over 1,000 people in 5 different continents on the subject of happiness, you know a thing or two about happiness. And then the first time, I've written 3 books, and my publisher said, hey, we got to write a book about this. I said, I don't even know what I'm doing. What do I write about? I said, but you can help me to put some tools together that we can share with people. So the first thing I came up with was the 10 ways to be happy. And so the 10 ways to be happy is a very simple 10 ways. And folks, the good thing about it is that these are what people told me, sitting on the corner street with a homeless person, talking to a person that just lost their job, going to the golf house and speak to someone, or the boardroom and speak to someone. It came down to this. And so far it's worked for the last 7 years. Then the next thing I do, folks, is the app. I'm sure you guys have heard it. There is an app for that, right? So we developed an app for spreading happiness. You can download it for free at the iTunes Store or the Google Play Store. And it have little things like the happiness scale. Folks, I'm hoping that one day the happiness scale will become a standard. Just like you take your body temperature or you take your weight and stuff like that. You can go into the app and measure your happiness scale. And if you do it well enough and consistently enough, you'll be able to determine your happiest hour of the day and your happiest day of the week. How cool is that? And then it also allows you to keep your gratitude. Very simple. They said if you are thankful every time, the world, the universe will bring more things for you to be thankful about. And then the last thing is the pin. And people always ask me, why am I wearing the I am happy pin? I said it's an affirmation. Number one, it reminds me that I'm the chief happiness officer, so that I am happy. Can you imagine you staring at me and I'm not happy, and you say, hey, what's the matter with this guy? He's supposed to be happy. And so I wear that pin to remind me, but it also reminds the person who is looking at it that they can be happy. And then the final thing, folks, is what I call the happiness exercise. Folks, if you want to set happiness as a default, you have to have something very simple you can do. And you can do at the spot of the moment. For me, it's just a simple exercise I have developed over time. And one of them is ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Can you guys do it very quickly? Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. It's silly. But guess what? Happiness is silly. It should be. That's why kids are more happy, because they do silly things. We need to learn from them. Okay? So basically, folks, if you take the 24-hour promise and you add it to the 3-minute rule, and then you add it to the pin and all the stuff you learn, right? Self-compassion is crucial. You have to learn to forgive yourself, to know that you are human. Not to be too harsh on yourself. Some people beat themselves so hard, you almost want to call 911 for them. If you miss all of that with a little bit of practice, guess what? You have a recipe for happiness as a default position. The last thing people ask me is, how do you spread happiness? Excuse me, they ask me, the world need more happiness. Folks, I want to encourage you to be the happiness. You, be the happiness the world needs. Because according to researchers from Harvard Medical School and the University of California in San Diego, they said when an individual is happy, a network reaction takes place that can be measured up to 3 degrees. An individual happiness triggers a chain reaction that not only benefits his friends, but his friends' friends and his friends' friends' friends. So if you, and I mean you, become that person, you learn a little bit, you focus on happiness, you become happy, guess what? You create a ripple effect that makes the whole world a happier place. So, by the power vested in me, as a Chief Happiness Officer, you now have happiness as a default position. Stay happy.
All right, John. We're going to bring you in, John, and then we're going to get to our friend Neil, because I've noticed that Sue finished her sharing of that video and then she hopped off the live stream entirely. So we get to take over Santa Papa John, but I put in the chat when we're watching the video.
Yeah,
and Edwin was saying
10 minutes of it, I guess. He's a pretty
so
good speaker.
So when Edwin was saying ho ho ha ha ha, I thought of you. Ho 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 ha ha ha. Santa Papa John, good to see you.
There you go.
So
how
I'm
are
glad.
you guys doing tonight?
Doing great. So glad to have you here, and I'm glad you had a chance to catch part of that TED Talk that Edwin did, because I know we've talked a lot about happiness. We've talked a lot about Happy Neighborhood Project on here, and it hit me tonight that, like, I think people would really like to hear what this all is about, and just to catch it from him directly, because it actually, I think, hits different hearing it from him versus me just sharing, what I heard him say. So right. What did you hear that stood out to you?
He made a good point. He said that with him being the director of happiness, he always has to be in a happy mood when he's out in public, because he puts on a face that he has to live up to, because he always talks the talk and he has to walk the walk. And I have to do the same thing. I have a big personification that I have to stand up to reveal to. And that's why you'll always catch me being happy, positive, and joyful. And I always get the comments that I am always that way. And, he said another thing he said was, it is contagious. I've heard many people say, we're so glad that you came to our meeting because you bring such joy and happiness to our meetings. And, that makes a guy feel pretty good that people want me in there because I bring the meetings up to another level of standards that everybody suddenly, not that they have to get off the naughty list to be on the nice list to be a participant in the meeting or whatever they're talking about, but it also makes them maybe think about the words that are saying before they come out of their mouth. The old proverbial, think before you speak, and you're going to change your words and you're going to change your attitudes. I can see him doing that and me doing that as well, so it's fun to share happiness and joyfulness, and we need to share that more. And we all know some veterans that definitely need some encouragement for whatever reason they get pushed down or jumped down or tackled down into some funks that they get into. Well, they need to have some conversation with people, not necessarily specialists, not necessarily family members, but other people to bring some happiness, to get them to think some positive, happy, joyful thoughts. And that potentially could be enough to get them out of the funk that they're in. And therefore, we need, missions like this to gain more popularity, to gain more easily access to, so that we don't give the veterans the idea that they are alone in this mission that they're on this funk that they're in, or whatever the case they may be. And if we just share the word and everybody shares this and pushes it out, I think when I get my new website out, I've been thinking about this for a week, as I keep running into more people that do veteran services. I'm going to dedicate a whole page of my website to saying, here are the services that are available for veterans. There's no more excuses, because people are going to find me and they're going to say, hey, what's this all about?
Perfect.
And it might be something that they didn't know anything about. And we all know the more people we tell, the more people are going to find out, the more services that the veterans are going to be able to get access to. And that is the key word there, that we need to have the veterans know that they are loved and cared about, and there is services out there for them.
100%. I think that's perfect. Thank you so much for sharing all that with us, Santa Papa John. And actually, I want to get it back over to Kurt. I know you still have Neil on the phone, I believe. Did you have a chance for him to be able to respond to this as well?
Yeah, what I'll tell you, folks, is Neil was on the phone listening to Edwin, and Neil could not contain himself. He was bolting out with a little laughter, and so I know Neil enjoyed it.
I was going ho 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 right with him.
Yeah, ho ho ho, ha ha ha, yeah.
Right.
So very good. Any final thoughts, Neil? We're at the conclusion of our show. I want to give you a moment if you had any last words.
Yeah, I just think it's very important to pray about, for me, I'm a prayerful person, and to pray about how I can reach out to veterans. I don't have any veterans in my inner circle except for my father, but I was praying about whether I would volunteer at the Veterans Administration Center, because I think I could reach out to many veterans in that way, because I could be there several hours a day, and I could reach out to many veterans that way. And over time, once I establish myself there as a known quantity, I possibly introduce the DieHard mission there and see how about that, but one step at a time. But let me just start with tomorrow, see what I can do tomorrow to start this mission and see what I can do. I think it's very important. When you tell me that 22 veterans are dying a day, that's an unacceptable number for me, and I'm not sure what I could do, but let me pray about that and see where that can lead.
Yep. Well, thank you very much, Neil.
Sue, we might have to take over.
I thought I was going to release there. He's frozen solid. But yeah, it is something where Neil, we're very grateful for you joining us here today. And I think he said a key thing there. It's like, let me see what I can do, and I will start tomorrow. One step at a time. What's the next thing? Start with what's next.
And like you and Brian and your hubby say every time, if we all contribute 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day to reaching someone out there or telling someone that there's a new service available, the old spider webs will continually grow. That's why I say, I think exactly, Emily, teamwork makes the dream work. And, I've said it I've met 3 new people in the last 3 or 4 days that are running veteran organizations that I hadn't met before. So I keep running into these different people. So I think there needs to be, and like I say, I'm really thinking that something on my website to say, I honestly don't know if there is a national page where all the different groups, associations are listed for veterans. But I think that would be something to look into, and I'm going to start it. And I don't know if I'm going to be the first or I'm the 100th, but I mean, the more we can list, the more we can show these veterans that there is services in their area, you know, so that they don't have to go across the country to receive services. You know, I think that is a very important step that needs to be figured out.
100%. Oh, can't thank you enough for joining us here tonight. As always, we are so thrilled to have your support and your presence here, because again, you bring a smile to everybody's faces just being here, and that, mine included. So it's always good to see you, and we appreciate you very much. Yeah, we've been very blessed today with all those who've been joining us. I know we had Christian on here earlier. We have Santa here now. We had Neil on the phone. And we had Brian himself joining us tonight, 2 weeks out from his double bypass surgery, and he was here. So God bless him and all he's doing. And so Kurt, thank you so much as well. I know you're doing some juggling media pieces here. We appreciate that more than you know to make that all happen. So we are here with Project DieHard Mission Monday update every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. Central. My name again is Sue Roskoff. I am an ambassador here. I'm so happy to be here and to be able to do my piece, my small piece in making this project all come together and be all that it can be. So I, again, challenge you to think, what can you do? Can you pray? Can you volunteer? Can you donate? Can you, what else can you do? Be part of this. I invite you. Reach out.